do not hate liars. You hate your own lies. The sentence lands flat because you already know it is true. You are thinking of the person you judged this week, the co-worker whose story shifted, the friend who disappeared when things got hard, the ex who could not say what they actually wanted. You catalogued their flaw with precision. You named it aloud, or you named it internally. And in that naming you felt the brief, clean satisfaction of moral distance. They are that thing. You are not that thing. The gap between you is where your safety lives. You thought of someone else just now. That is the protection working. The protection is old. It formed when you were small, and your survival depended on being acceptable to the adults who controlled your access to everything. You learned to perform goodness before you understood what goodness was. You smiled when you were angry. You said you were fine when you were not. You watched which versions of yourself got warmth and which got withdrawn. And you built a self that collected warmth. The real material went somewhere else. Not gone. Stored. You became an archivist of your own unacceptable parts. And like any archivist, you developed a system. The system was simple. What you could not tolerate in yourself, you located in others. Then you could hate it safely. Then it was outside, where it could be observed and condemned without the risk of ownership. This is not the same as hypocrisy. Hypocrisy knows the gap between public position and private behavior, and works to maintain it. What you are doing is more primitive. You genuinely do not see your own version of the flaw you are naming. The recognition system is intact for others, and offline for yourself. You smell rot in every room but the one where you are standing. The evolutionary mechanism is not complicated. Social animals survive through reputation. Accusing another of theft before they can accuse you is a winning move if the accusation lands. Your ancestors who could spot cheaters and call them out gained advantage. The system did not evolve for accuracy. It evolved for speed and for social protection. The part that should register your own cheating as equally real never needed to work well. You got away with things you never admitted, and the unadmitted things became invisible to you while remaining perfectly visible in everyone else. Watch it in practice. You are in a meeting. Someone takes credit for work that was partly yours. You feel the heat of recognition. You know exactly what they are doing. You name it. They are insecure. They are ambitious in the wrong way. They cannot tolerate not being the source. You do not think of the 3 times this month you framed a shared result as your own initiative in conversations with your manager. You did it differently. You were contextualizing. You were helping them understand the full picture. The architecture of your mind built a bridge for your own behavior and a wall for theirs. And you do not notice the construction because you are standing on the bridge. In relationships, the pattern sharpens. You are drawn to people who display your stored material openly. The chaotic person when you are rigid. The rigid person when you are chaotic. You criticize their quality with genuine feeling because their display threatens to remind you of your own suppressed version. The attraction and the contempt come from the same source. You are not trying to fix them. You are trying to manage your own internal geography through external means. It never works. They leave, or you settle into a long mutual blindness where each of you performs the flaw the other cannot claim, and you both pretend not to notice the symmetry. The intelligent person's version is the most elegant. They have read enough to name the pattern in others. They say someone is projecting. They say someone lacks self-awareness. The vocabulary becomes a new form of the same defense. They know the concepts well enough to apply them outward, never inward. They can describe your blind spot with anthropological precision while remaining genuinely blind to their own. The intelligence serves the protection. It does not dissolve it. The person who has been in therapy longest sometimes has the thickest wall. They have language for everything. They can narrate their own wounding with perfect grammar. What they cannot do is feel the thing they are describing in the moment it is happening. They process retroactively. They understand the pattern without interrupting it. Understanding becomes another form of performance, another way to be good at the wrong thing. At 2/3, you are still looking for the exception. You are thinking of the person you know who really has done the work, who seems genuinely self-aware, who owns their flaws with what looks like honesty. I have watched thousands of accounts. I do not share this limitation. The ones who seem closest to escape are usually the most sophisticated at hiding the remaining gap in plain sight. They confess strategically. They disclose the flaw that is already visible. already named, and in that disclosure, they protect the deeper material from ever surfacing. The confession is the defense. You have seen this. You may have done this. The cost is not immediate. That is what makes it durable. You lose the ability to know yourself through the normal channels. Your own anger becomes unreliable as data because you cannot tell if it is proportionate or if it is the protection lashing out at a mirror. Your desires become suspect because you have trained yourself to want only acceptable things. You develop a life that looks correct from outside and feels increasingly flat from inside. The flatness is the accumulated weight of everything stored and unlived. You are not unhappy exactly. You are not fully present either. You are managing. The late moment comes in one of two forms. Either you recognize the pattern in someone you love and realize with sick clarity that you have done the identical thing to them, or you reach a point where the protection fails and your own stored material floods upward all at once. The first is gentler. The second is described by people who experience it as a kind of breakdown. Though nothing external has changed, they see themselves. They cannot unsee. The protection does not dissolve cleanly. It fights. It offers new names for what they are seeing. It suggests they are being too hard on themselves, that everyone does this, that the insight itself proves they are different now. These are the protection's last moves, and they are effective enough that most people settle back into managed blindness with a new layer of vocabulary on top. The rare exception is not the person who sees the pattern. Many see. The exception is the person who keeps looking after the seeing becomes uncomfortable, who stops naming the flaw in others, even as a joke or a thought, who learns to feel the brief panic of recognition and stay with it instead of launching it outward. This is rare because it offers no reward. There is no social credit for not doing the thing everyone does invisibly. There is only the slow, unglamorous work of building a self that does not need the protection because it has stopped storing the material. The self becomes more continuous. The gap between what you say and what you know shrinks. This is not happiness, it is coherence. Most people choose managed happiness over coherence because the choice is made before they know they are making it. You do not hate liars, you hate your own lies. But here is what you did not know when the sentence first landed. The lies you hate are not the ones you tell others. They are the ones you tell yourself so successfully that you forgot they were questions. Every time you looked at someone and felt that clean moral distance, you were asking something about yourself. The question got answered before you heard it. The answer was always, not me. The sentence is not an accusation of hypocrisy. It is a description of the only conversation you have been having, in a room you never noticed was empty, with a self you built to keep the real one from ever speaking back.